Okay guys, it ain't no secret that the GTX 1650 is just not that good, but for some reason it is the 4th most popular GPU in use right now, according to the Steam charts. Why is it so popular? I mean, sure, it was actually decently priced 6 years ago, but with it now being over 4 generations old and never that powerful in the first place, didn't people feel the need to upgrade yet? Okay, let's see how it does in 2025 and why so many people are still holding on to it. But first I gotta make it clear that as long as you run Windows, Doom the Dark Ages and Indiana Jones for the 1650 users is just out of the question, unfortunately. It just doesn't have the VRAM or ray tracing support to run it. And you will not be playing S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 either, cause we got a very stable frame rate of 2 FPS. Yeah, and that's even with the lowest settings and TSR on ultra performance. So yeah, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is also out of the question. Although Warzone is supported perfectly fine. Honestly, because I paired this 1650 with an actual good CPU, you will be amazed of what FPS numbers this thing is capable of pushing. Although on 1080p and minimum settings preset and Nvidia image scaling set to performance. But still, 100 FPS is nothing to laugh at, but at the same time, turning off image scaling and raising the settings preset to basic meant that we were immediately getting like 50 FPS. So we found the limit of this thing really quickly. And yeah, at the moment, for some reason, CS2 servers are down, so we'll just come back to it a bit later, which means that I guess we can roll in the boring section.
Let's go!
What about AAA games that do not require ray tracing? So, for example, Cyberpunk has always performed better on Nvidia GPUs rather than AMD, and yeah, as you can see, you can even play the game with no upscaling on 1080p low preset, but to hit 60, it is better to use FSR 2.1, and then you're hitting almost 70 FPS. And another AAA surprise in a positive way was Black Myth Wukong, where on 1080p low, although using 50% TSR resolution, which is basically around 540p, we got over 60 FPS. Though, again, at the same time when recording, it dropped to 30-ish, which I'll just blame on VRAM. Now, I bet you also didn't expect that, but oh boy, the Marvel Rivals does perform. Although yes, on 1080p and low settings with TSR on ultra performance, but nonetheless, the frame rate was very good and the gameplay experience was also good. And Fortnite was even better, like it was crazy good. I mean, this thing costs what, like 40 bucks or something? But it still managed to get over 300 FPS using Fortnite's rendering mode on performance, everything on low and TSR on medium. That's crazy, guys. Okay, and CS2 is back online, so this is what we got. Using 1080p low settings, the frame rate was good and very stable, which is I guess even more important. That was very surprising because the RX 580 4GB paired with the 3600 Ryzen had micro stutters. So, I know this was a rather short video, but the situation is very clear here, so I didn't want to waste your time by yapping for like 10 minutes. If you pair it with a decent processor, it handles esports like a champ, although on the lowest settings possible, but still, it manages that, which means that it is so popular because it is actually usable. Now, in contrast to the RX 580 4GB we did previously, I say that the CPU plays a huge role in the frame rate here as well, but basically, if you're fine with 1080p and absolutely everything on the lowest settings, you got yourself a pretty decent GPU that is very quiet and doesn't need any power connectors. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm going to sleep right now with this GPU. So yeah, cheap bastard out.